Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, of another furry visual novel. This one, when the main screen looks on, Echoes of Valeth, a game of boots. Echoes of Valeth is an adult, kinetic visual novel set in the original fictional world of Shadre, which I guess was the same world as the previous game that we quick look, because it's by the same developer. Follow the story of Gwin Sparks, an 18-year-old raccoon, orphan immersed in the most difficult period of his life, with a forgettable past without a family, and forgettable? An uncertain future, and harassed by bullies day by day, in a dense scholar ambient in the present time. Soon, he'll have to find his strength after an unexpected event will drastically change his life forever. So anyways, before we start, if you're interested in me doing a Let's Play series of this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point. We'll put it up higher on the user's choice list. And if you want me to do a quick look or Let's Play series of any other game, then tell me, and I'll do just that. But also, if you want to play this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. I think this game is finished, because they're working on a different game, Silver Haven, which is on a different thing, but they also have a subscribe star. Do they have Patreon? Doesn't seem to be a Patreon on this page, though. So yeah, we're gonna reset our face and start. Ukapagen. The year is 3093, province of Hectovania, Jord something. The soft wind caresses frozen steps under the light of a shy sunrise. A fair breeze is gentle, soft, and quiet, as though it is careful not to disturb the peaceful rest of the land. As though the wind knows this is a land that needs a savior, whenever peace it can get, needs to savor. Is a quiet landscape, like a painting, sealed and still under glass. To the east, the region star shines as it barely crests tall mountains. It paints snow-patched world with pale yellows and tan colors of waning winter, blessing the sparse wild fauna with warm morning. Birds whistle and squawk, while other feral creatures pick through the still fields, or wander over to drink from the shallow, turquoise river leading from the mountains. Man, I've never experienced a cold like putting your hand in glacier cold water. Boy. Like, when a glacier's melting and, you're touching the river below it, it's like, wow, that is cold. Tiny crystals of morning mist have started to melt. Buds of flowers open to drink from the light. On their petals and stems, droplets of trickling moisture sparkle and glisten by the light of the sun. And then, the birds start screeching, and the feral animals sprint away in panic as the serenity is broken, and flowers are trampled in dirt under panic paws. Aw, Bobby. I always think, if you could have, like, puppy animals instead of, like, human kids, I would probably have, like, 20 of them. Which, yeah, I mean, they're cute. A dark-furred adult wolf sprints as fast as he can, kicking up dirt and snow in his wake. A hood covers his visage, leaving only his marked muzzle visible under the daylight. The dirt-stained backpack tugs on his shoulders with every step. He's carrying something in his arms, carefully. He softens the impacts of his footsteps for his bundle, even as he runs with all the energy he can muster. His scampering ends with a heavy sigh as he passes to kneel behind a fallen tree. His eyes finally spy what he has long at what he has been longing for in his mind. A long metallic fence spans the land as far as the eye can see, to his left and to his right. It separates him from the majestic mountains to the east, on the other side. The land on the other side is beautiful, but it means so much more to him than that. It means life. He's so close, but as his muzzle wends with the moisture of heavy, wheezing, desperate breaths, he needs one moment to rest before he collapses. He crouches, and gentle hands peel at the upper part of his soft bundle in his grasp, peeling back a soft, warm blanket. His pain and exhaustion fade as he looks at the sweet face of a young puppy, and confused aquamarine eyes look at him for comfort. He smiles, desperate tears forming in his eyes. This is the pup's first winter, and he has already traveled more than an infant should. He is wrong. He should be somewhere warm and safe. But he will not find that on this side of the fence. We're getting there. We're going to make it, my little pup. He whispers in an unsteady voice, still catching his breath. He kneels closer, until his big, dark muzzle tenderly caresses the tiny pinkish muzzle of his son. And the little thing smiles back at him. The wolf sighs, drawing comfort from his expression. That's all he wants, all he needs. He just wants his son to live in a world where he can smile. It do be like that. And then, too soon, his dark ears perk upward suddenly. The filthy sound of an old engine rattles in the distance behind him, and it's a sound that's already getting louder. While the wolf's throat dries in an instant, and his heart skips a beat, he turns his eyes back towards the mountains. He frowns with determination. With renewed energy, pushing through exhaustion, driven by love and terror, he makes it for the fence. The chain fence rattles dozens of meters on either side of him as he finally reaches the metal and slaps a hand against it, grasping at the winding steel wire. He cannot climb it, not with his son in his arms. But he has come prepared. Don't worry, little one. Hang on for me. This won't take too long. He gently places the bundle, son, amongst the mantle of leaves. He tosses his backpack onto the ground with much less care and ruffles through it with haste. When he finds where he needs, he races to the fence, his fingers wrapped around briars. Panting, sweating, he starts cutting through the steel with methodical determination. The metal clipping sound echoes through the quiet air in sturdy rhythm as he works. It disturbs his puppy, who lets out a lonely whimper. His heart urges him to run to his pup to comfort him. He wants to be there for him, always. But there's no more time. Come on, he growls. He continues cutting, even as his hands start to shake and his heart starts to thump against his chest. The sounds of the engine grow even louder. His son wails, wanting his father to reappear and smile and nuzzle him and make him feel safe, but the wolf cannot. Come on! The wolf howls, showing all his sharp teeth. He no longer dares to look over his shoulder. He cannot waste another second. And he doesn't want to know how few he has left. Finally, he is cut enough in the line through the fence to tear the metal back and squeeze through. He hears the engine stop, and then he hears shouting, urgent tones, deep voices. He can almost make out the words. He can smell them. The male musk of men who do not shower as often as they would like. Soldiers. He leaves his backpack and snatches up his son, and he runs. He pushed through the fence back first, protecting his infant from the sharp cut wires that ripped through his clothing and cut through his flesh. Past the fence, past the border, he turns and sprints into Albanir. He runs for the mountains. He runs for home, faster than he's ever run before. A squadron of 5 Jordovan soldiers race for the fence from the west. Their equipment rustles on their backs and at their hips. Their weapons are already drawn. There he is. He's running away. Don't let him get away. Freeze! He doubles in volume and his voice as he screams. Freeze! The officer snatches up the portable radio. With his eyes fixed on the escaping wolf, he clicks a button and hisses urgently into receiver. The target has crossed the border. We cannot pursue. Requesting permission to take down. There's a moment of silence and static. He narrows his eyes. The wolf is shrinking in his vision. He turns to the sniper. Get ready. The officer orders firmly. Do not fire. Yet. The sniper nods and slings towards the fence. He passes the cannon of his precision rifle through one of the metallic loopholes to steady his weapon and sinks his head to the scope. He lets out a slow exhale, steadying his body until he is still. He's zigzagging. He knows. The sniper says bluntly. The officer grits his teeth and grips the chain links in his hand so hard the metal bends. The window of opportunity is closing fast. The officer yells down at the radio. Request permission to take down. And then the static is cleared. We got it. Let's finish this. The wolf knows that a fence, a border, means nothing to the land around him. But still, the frosted grass and alabaster of Albanier feels different under his paws. It feels like home. A place where his people can grow like grass, soaking in the sun, without fear of being cut down by a power-hungry despot for growing too tall. The emperor who wants all the light for himself. The wolf went to Gervonia so that the grass would continue to grow in Albanier. And now he returns to his homeland, so his son might have a chance to grow. In a place free from tyranny and control. Yeah, they did say he was going to be an orphan. The canine's cry rings out, and a distant shot breaks the calm in the air once again. The wolf sinks to his knees, and then falls into the dirt. On his side, to keep his son safe, even now. He clutches his chest with his left paw, where he can feel pain. He comes back red. He gasps down air, but his breath's erratic. He grimaces in agony and groans. He reaches for his son with his other paw and finds him unharmed. His son lets out a confused cry, and the wolf's expression turns to one of relief. With fading energy, he clenches his teeth and takes off his coat. And then, he covers his son in the garment to keep him warm, keeping the small amount of blood away from his face. Good boy. He whispered with a breaking voice. His body trembles, and he covers the wound in the center of his chest with his left hand, while his right hand caresses and comforts his puppy. He comforts his young son, and draws comfort from him in turn. The crying ceases, and the adult smiles. He feels the sun on his face, and the grass of his homeland around him. The sounds of nature return to surround them, and they finally find some peace in the middle of nowhere. But the sun is not enough to warm the coldness growing in his limbs. He knows. It's too late. There's so much red. His eyelids are heavy. They're getting heavier. I did my best, little one. He cries through a smile. He lets out a long exhale, choking. Sorry. I hope you can forgive me. That I can't be there for you. He shuffles awkwardly, groaning with strain, to give his son a kiss on the forehead. His lips stain the fur with blood. I love you, little one. His eyelids stay open, just so he can look at his son. A little longer. Had he known this would be the end for him, when he fell in love, he would not have changed a thing, as long as his son will one day be able to smile, free from oppression, even if his father wasn't there anymore. I love you, Gwyn. Well, that's a sad opening. Noon passes at the western border of Albanier. A van drives along the fence, separating the Albanier Federation from the Jordavan Empire. It drives through rough terrain and brush before finally stopping near a freshwater stream. Is it supposed to be like, even though it's 1,000 years in the future, in an alternative thing, that they still have like modern day technology or something? I don't know. The other thing set in this universe was like more advanced. They had cars, but they also had VR stuff. Oops, sorry. This is where the workers usually stop to take the break. It's a beautiful sight around here, after all. Fresh air comes from the mountains, filtered through trees. The 3 surveyors exit the van and stretch their legs, breathing deeply. Man, there's surveyor-ass surveyors with fucking LiDAR. I think that's a LiDAR. It's not the one that we would use, but it kind of looks like one. Wow, it's a hell of a sight. It's a shame we have work to do. I suppose we should eat something before we work, to get our energy up. And then take a nap after eating. Are you truly hungry already? How long ago did we have breakfast? Driving takes a lot out of me. I wasn't the one driving. I was the one driving. The third worker, a vixen, rolls her eyes. She knows what they're like. She takes the opportunity to stretch her legs amongst the beautiful scenery after the long drive, and walks away. Hey, aren't you gonna eat? Save some for me. I'll be back. She calls out. More importantly, she's going to walk to give her a break from her colleagues for a while. It do be like that. Walking along the fence, she smiles to herself as she takes in the view. Soon, though, she spots a hole in the fence. The wire has been cut open and forced back, leading to this side of the border. She clutches her radio while glancing around, anxious they might have Jordavan intruders. It's unlikely, but given the history between the two nations, she can't be too careful. She peers through the fence, around the surroundings, and sees discarded pliers and a backpack. Besides that, there's nothing. While she's curious, it's not her problem to cause a diplomatic incident by crawling through the gap to look through the backpack either. Yet, as she walks along the fence, her nose picks up a strange, metallic smell in the wind. She follows it until she spies the source, and she gasps, bringing her hands to her face. Oh heavens! What is this? Cautiously, she creeps forward, but when she sees the amount of blood soaking the body's fur, she knows the poor soul is dead. Her eyes soon spot a small, rugged tail sticking out from the coat. She crouches and rests a hand on the male's body. He is cold, but the blood's still red, and he seems to be intact. Besides the hole in his back, he died recently. She squints when she spies what looks like a tail peeking out from under a wrapped-up cloak. When she peels back the fabric, she squeals in shock. It's a little baby. And then she clasps her hands over her mouth. She can see his chest moving. He's alive, but sleeping. He must have cried himself to sleep, the poor thing. At first, she thinks he is a wolf, like the dead man, but as she leans forward to look at him, frowning sadly, he is undoubtedly a little raccoon. or at least primarily raccoon in his genetics. She takes some steps away so that her voice doesn't disturb the sleeping infant. Guys, come quickly. Some 400 meters north approximately. When one of her companions complained about eating, she growled. I found a baby. Vectrus, capital of Albanir, 2 days later. Man, I wonder if these are going to be reoccurring characters or if these are pretty much one-off characters. Because if it's one-off characters, then, man, that's some dedication to sprites, you know? Because, God, there's so many visual novels where it's like, here's these characters which are constantly reoccurring. We never actually see what they look like, you know? It's like, yeah, okay, stuff costs money, but still. The female Arctic wolf hums quietly to herself as she sits at her desk, reviewing reports. Rain falls in pitter-patter against the window behind her. It's a gray, dim kind of day, yet she likes the rain. At least, she doesn't have to go outside in it. It do be like that. There's something oddly comforting about being inside, next to a heater, besides a warm glow of light, while it rains outside. And especially when she has a hot coffee within arm's reach. It do be like that. She's just about to drink from hers when her eyes flicker upwards as she notices movement behind the frosted glass window in the door to her office. Whomever it is lingers there for a while, shuffling anxiously in place. Before they stew there for too long, she calls out, "Come in." A big brown bear squeezed through the doorway, his head dipped with respect. Ooh. Man, my coffee suddenly was like, hey, do you want to taste it again? It's like, nope. Ma'am. He swallows and hesitates. She exhales slowly through her nose. Why are you nervous? Oh, it's not nerves. Not at all. It's sad news. That's all. He hands her the file. About Agent Sparks. They sit down opposite of each other. The bear waits patiently while the agent reads. Her expression sinks with every line her eyes pass over. Oh no. She sighs sadly. After 3 years in Jordovia, undercover, he was our best agent, one of our greatest assets. The information he was able to obtain. He completed his mission. He did it as he asked, and more. Oh, I know. 3 years, and he sends us precise information on the nuclear program, their personnel, their capabilities. The bear nods along. He's a hero. A hero no one will ever hear about. Or people will never know what he did for us. That's the kind of thing that never mattered to him. No, it didn't. She gave a small nod. The wolf reads through the file again, both hands holding it in place against her desk, her eyes narrow. I don't understand, though. This isn't like him. He was so careful. How could it end like this? Face down in the field, shot while running. It's ugly. It's desperate. The bear fiddled with the button in his jacket, avoiding her gaze. Now, you are nervous. The bear cleared his throat and sat upright, as best he could in the chair, too narrow for his girth. There's one small detail, not mentioned in the report. And that is? Sparks was carrying a pup, an infant, 2 months old. Oh, Sparks, what were you thinking? Is it his? It's a hybrid, a raccoon with wolf features. They are yet to test the DNA, but it makes sense. The wolf sits up, wrinkles her nose, and frowns. Yes, it does make sense. Sparks had no family. He was alone in the world, a perfect spy. And then, he finally has someone to give his heart to, and, well, bring in Dravania, undercover. That's not a good life for a child. It's not a good death for his child, if they had discovered what he was doing for us either. Indeed. The wolf stands and wanders over to the window, looking out while she speaks. Well, Sparks gave us everything. He asked for nothing in return, but the least we can do now we can do something for Alabaster's hero, or Albanier's. I can read. Ma'am? Sparks had no family here, no roots, so the responsibilities fall on us to take care of this child. He fought for a world where he could be safe, free from danger. We'll give that to his son. It's the least we can do. Of course, ma'am. The bear nods. He pulls out a tablet and starts typing notes. Arrange for something for the pup. Find someone you can take care of him. Someone Albanier? No. We can't be cautious enough. Maybe Helion. I think that's the place that's in the other game. Very well. We'll look into it. It's like, yeah, let's not have him in the place where, we're a republic or something like that. It's too, it's not safe enough. Let's put him in the Corpo states. Nodding, the bear turns to leave, still typing, eyes fixed on his tablet. However, he pauses in the doorway suddenly and comes back. I almost forgot. There was this. As Wolf turns to look at him, he pulls out a transparent bag from his pocket. It contains a stained, wrinkled, and faded piece of cloth. On it, there's some text, written in blood. I'll see you later, ma'am. After the bear leaves, the wolf steps forward to pull it out. She unrolls it, and she sighs to herself, sadly. Gwyn. Chapter 1, Victorium's Reign, or Victorium's? Year 3111, City of Victorium, Hilon. The teacher talks at the front of the high school classroom. Chalk taps and scuffs across the surface of the blackboard with rhythmic patterns as she draws an outline on the map. Do they still use chalk and chalkboards, or is it whiteboards and markers? The room is quiet, and the teacher is easy enough to hear, but a blue-gray raccoon sitting by the window does not listen. His eyes wander to the outside world, as miserable as it is. The glass rattles ever so slightly in his frame as a strong wind blows outside. Sorry, read the odds. Rain patters against it. It's a cold and gray day, with only timid rays of light shining through the clouds in the distance. Humidity cleans the surface of the glass. Every now and then, wind catches a bead of moisture, sending it streaking across the surface. That was always a fun thing to watch. The trees outside are increasingly sparse and naked. Few leaves remain on their branches, clinging to the wood against the growing wind and rain. Still, the wind is too strong. One by one, leaves are orphaned from the trees, sent hurtling and twirling through the wind, alone, to some distant place, where they'll grow soggy and cold and decomposed, forgotten. Unless you pick them up and put them in a binder or something like that. I remember that. Elon was colonized a mere 4 centuries ago. The explorers were astonished to find rich natural resources in abundance here. It makes our nation the youngest of all Shadre, but also the fastest growing. The corporations here, Graycom, Aerosoft, and Helon Resources Corporation, have only accelerated the growth. Glory to the corporations. God, right now I'm just like, I wonder how long it's going to take before we hear that. Anyways, the teacher turns back towards the class and suddenly pauses. He narrows his eyes and frowns as he fixates on the raccoon. Gwin Sparks. Oh, that was the name. He wrote it down so, like, she would know what to name him. I didn't catch that. Do I really bore you so much that you find rain more interesting than my lessons? Gwyn sits up straight, turns his eyes to his laptop, and places his fingers on the keys as though he had been taking notes. But his screen has gone to sleep after being unattended to for so long. Behind him, he hears the voice of a student taking advantage of the situation. Norin never misses an opportunity to be mean, especially to the raccoon. Homeless freaks like to beg around these parts sometimes. Maybe the orphan thought he saw his parents out the window setting up a cardboard box to sleep in. The other students around him giggle and laugh, increasing the waves of volume. It's hardly even that funny. They will simply take any opportunity to prolong a distraction in the classroom and avoid doing any work. It do be like that. The raccoon cringes and hunches over his desk, enduring the laughter until it subsides. He never likes being the center of attention. Unfortunately, he's finding it harder to avoid it these days. Norin. The teacher warns. Sorry, Mr. Blackmore. Man, a teacher that actually goes after bullies? What the hell? That's a rare sight. The boy behind Gwyn smiles warmly. I took no offense on your behalf. No offense on your behalf. At his disrespect I took offense on your behalf at his disrespect of your valuable teachings. Norin is unbothered by attention, unlike Gwyn. The teacher turns to the class and talks in a loud voice. I'd like everyone to take notes on the roles of the three upper corporations in Helon. I'll ask some of you to share shortly. While the students resume working, Mr. Blackmore wanders over to Gwyn, who crouches slightly, so he can whisper without other students overhearing him. I didn't mean to. He sighs, interrupting himself. I apologize for making you the center of attention. I'm simply concerned, Gwyn. What's going on with you lately? I know you're a clever boy. I know you can do this. But you're not paying attention. Your work is late, and not up to your standards. I'm sorry, Mr. Blackmore. The raccoon says tiredly. He logs back into his computer and sluggishly resumes work. The teacher shakes his head. I don't want an apology. I simply want you to succeed. I'm concerned by your behavior. Whatever it is, Gwyn, this is your penultimate year. A lot of things depend on what you achieve right now. If there is something wrong, ask for help. I want to help you. Because, at this rate, you're going to fail this term. The raccoon's aquamarine eyes stare straight at his laptop screen, as though the teacher's not even there. The teacher sighs heavily. You have to try harder and do better. I know you can. I wonder what it would be like if I was going to say, because I was going to be like, okay, I wonder if, you actually had bird people, if they could talk. But then I'm like, well, they only have beaks, so of course they couldn't talk and, do mouth, enunciate things. But then it's like, okay, but what about parrots? And it's like, well, brain, you got me there. A bird that sounds like a human? Yeah, sure. A bird that sounds like a chainsaw? Okay. It's like, well, I guess you don't need lips to talk. Anyways, if you want to make something of your life, you'll have to work for it. The teacher nods to himself sadly. And you have to work harder than most others will have to, you know? Gwyn chews on his lip, all staring at a screen. He says nothing, and I bit my tongue again. Soon enough, Mr. Blackmore leaves with a sense of disappointment dragging down his shoulders. For the rest of the class, Gwyn pretends to type, but doesn't try. Why bother? He knows the teacher's too kind to call on him to share his work with the class, after what happened. Gwyn is right, and Mr. Blackmore leaves him for the rest of the day. Eventually the school bell sounds. Around him, students race to pack up and escape, while Mr. Blackmore continues to talk. Of course, the other students want to get out of here. They have families and loved ones and friends to spend time with. They have things to do and places to go. The raccoon is soon the only one left in the room. The sounds of footsteps in the hallway outside soon fade into silence. Gwyn takes all the time in the world as he prepares to leave. Nothing waits for him outside. Besides, things he wants to avoid. He hunches over his desk and rests his head on the wood, closes his eyes, and sighs quietly. He listens to the clock on the wall tick. He waits, as long as he can, willing time to tick by as quickly as it can. Eventually, his eyes shoot up in fright when the door is thrown open. You! Again! What are you doing in here? Man, they're kind of like my old high school where they're like, you're not supposed to be here. I always hated that. God, high school in Texas, it was like, you have a very small amount of stubble on your face, which is disrespecting and also distracting. You need to shave. And it's like, okay, sure. Or just other things. Or like you had to be in a specific place at a specific time. And I don't mean like in a classroom. It's like, hey, if you're at lunch, you can't, I don't know, just hang out at the library. Or something like that. You need to be in the cafeteria. Which, you know, if you want to have some time just to yourself, it's like, okay, it's hard to do that, you know? Anyways, exclaims one of the janitors as he peeks his head and leaves the raccoon. Time to go home. Now. Gwyn sits up, smiling bitterly to himself, almost laughing at the dark thought, as if he has a home to go to. So does he live in an orphanage? Or, like, does he have some apartments that is rented to himself? It is unpleasantly cold outside, even with fur and a long sweatshirt. The chilling wind still nips at his extremities of his muzzle. He must get back to the orphanage, but it's not a simple endeavor. Most other students have people to pick them up, especially on cold days. Parents or older siblings. Gwyn does not have those. Their main students would have money for public transport. Gwyn does not have money. I find it kind of funny. It's like, man, this person gave everything for his country. We need to take care of his child. Okay? We'll put him penniless in an orphanage in a different country. There we go. He must walk. At least he has legs and paws for that. His high-bred canine footpads step around the chilled puddles of water patching the gray sidewalks as he plods onwards. Is this a world where people don't have shoes? He wraps his arms around himself as he walks to shield himself ineffectively from the cold. After 15 minutes, he arrives at a junction where he has a choice. He could continue down the street and walk down towards the roads. This could be the long route, an hour-long excursion out of town. And it's probably going to rain soon. It'd probably make it even more miserable than usual. It is harsh, unpleasant, and poorly maintained pavements. God, who is this person? And no walkways along some section. He could, he would have to walk along long roads. Sorry, even though I have my Discord on Do Not Disturb, it's like, hey, this person wants to be your friend. It's like, I don't want that person to be my friend. It's somebody that, you know, from what is it? Uh, Media sharing thing, and it's like, yeah, if anybody's like want to be my friend there, it's so that they can try and sell me advertisement. It always is. Too bad I can't block people from adding me from that server, but I also like sharing my stuff there, just in case. He feels ill at the thought of walking alongside cars at high speed, especially in the rain. It would be easy for a driver to miss a skinny, gray-clothed raccoon on the side of the road. Or he could take the alley to his right, along the old service road, flanked by the factory to the east and an abandoned lumber mill to the west. This would only take 10 minutes to get to the orphanage, or even a few less, if he walked at a brisk pace. But there are threats to consider that make him feel even sicker than the thought of getting clipped by a car. He squints his eyes, scan the alley for any other people. It seems empty. Though he has thought of that before and been wrong. A fat drop of rain lands on his nose and startles him. His heart thumps in his chest with fright. If there was ever a day to risk it, it's probably today. With heavy footsteps, Gwyn plods down the alleyway, hoping today he will be lucky to avoid confrontation. Sorry. I should really get some water here like I did in my previous place so I can drink it and clear my throats. Give me a sec. And check the time. After all, he reassures himself he waited in class for a long time. Surely, they haven't been waiting all this time, under the risk of rain for him. It's that one game. He dips his head to shield his muzzle from the rain, and walks forward, swiftly hoping he will be able to walk this line all the way back to the warmth of the orphanage. He cringes so hard that the moisture forms in the creases of his eyes when he passes the corner of a building. And he hears 3 muttering voices, alongside footsteps racing to catch up to him from behind. Gwyn continues walking, without turning around, but his legs are shorter than theirs. One of them chuckles darkly from behind, in a voice that haunts Gwyn's dreams. Fucking hell, loser. You took your sweet time. Norn's 2 friends, who followed the D-hole everywhere, echoed Norn's casual nastiness. Man, that guy's big for a gazelle. Though I guess he is a part raccoon. But still, cougar. We're just about to go home. Almost missed you by a minute. How lucky. Where are you going in such a hurry? The D-hole laughs loudly. Yeah, it's not like you have anywhere to be. Slow down for us. A hand grips the neck of the raccoon sweatshirt, and he chokes as he is suddenly stopped in place by the tight fabric around his neck. Swiftly, the 3 other boys surround him and block his escape. Norn stands squarely in front of him, crossing his arms. He is taller than the raccoon, and angles his muzzle down, so he smiles with self-satisfaction. As rare drops of the starting rain patter on Norn's clothes, they leave no dark streaks. His clothes remain dry. His expensive, neat clothes are water-resistant. Why do you look so unhappy? Are you that miserable to see us? The D-hole feigns a pout. Or are you just pathetically depressed all the time, loser? The cougar stands close to the small raccoon. Gwyn can feel the feline's breath against his neck. Jared plants his hands on his hips. His muscles bulge as he stands there with an intimidating presence. You think a wimpy little bitch like him would like to be around proper men. God. And just thinking of people being like, oh yes, we're alpha males and stuff like that or something. I don't know. Levin laughs at that. The Impala is the tallest amongst them, even though he has less threatening expression. He is a bit simpler. Gwen only feels afraid of the Impala when he's around Norin, who brings out the worst in him. You stupid little brat. You trying to outsmart us or something? Gwyn stares at the ground while his heart thumps inside his chest. He knows they aren't going to leave, but there's nothing he can really say or do to get out of this. They found him, and they boxed him in. Again. Did you bring the money? The procyanoid's eyes now only see Norn's open hand extend in front of his eyes. The D-hole's fingers twitch expectantly, waiting impatiently for something to be placed in his paw. Oh, the little bitch hasn't brought anything. He's as poor as a no-shrien. Jared, the cougar, laughs and gives the raccoon a little push. Gwyn stumbles to the side, thumping against Levin's big, broad body, who might as well be a wall since he doesn't budge. Poor as an Noretian. The D-hole repeated, tutting. Stupid as a rock, too. The auburn white wild dog clutches Gwyn's chin and forces his head upright to look into Norn's amber eyes. They are the warm, orangey colors of autumn, but he feels as cold as winter as they look at Gwyn. Where's the money I ordered you to give me? Gwyn wrinkles his nose and frowns at the wild dog. I asked you a fucking question. Yeah, show some respect. I swear I can enunciate. Tell me where my money is. Open your stupid mouth and speak, bitch. Gwyn's hands curl in a fist. His heart races with a mixture of fear and anger. This is unfair. It's a cruel joke. Of course he has no money. That is the point. And money's the last thing Norin needs. If anything, he has too much of it already. He has a wealthy family, as do his friends. He has everything Gwyn does not. Well, yeah, rich people love hoarding money. It do be like that. Money, family, friends. Neat, clean clothes. Strength, respect. A future. The raccoon swallows and firms his gaze, even though his lips tremble. Talking to you is like talking to a trash can. What's the point? The D-hole stares back at him with unwavering eyes and smirks. Ooh, ouch. He whimpers sarcastically. Norin gives a small head nod towards Jared. Suddenly, Gwyn is assaulted from behind. His neck is encircled by the cougar's muscular arm. Little piece of shit. The cougar growls in his ear. You fucking ill-bred loser. The wild dog sneers in Gwyn's face. It's a good thing your parents abandoned you. No one would want an imbecile like you for a child. Norin shakes his head with fake sadness. When are you gonna learn your place? We should do something about it. The cougar chuckles darkly. You're too stupid to learn otherwise. I think you boys are right. Sometimes that's the only way a bitch learns. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. One of Norin's fists lands on the raccoon's chest, knocking the air out of his lungs. Jared lifts him by the neck with ease, strangling him while the procyanoid shakes his legs in the air. Agonizing seconds pass, suspended midair, when the cougar finally hurls him to the ground. His clothes and fur get dirty when landing on the dusty floor. He would try to get up, but it's no use, and he knows it from past experiences. When Norn's fist flies through the air and hits Gwyn between the ribs, the feline's bulky muscles around his neck make it hard to breathe, but Gwyn still lets out a pain groan as all the air leaves his lungs. Gwyn loses his sense of where he is and who is around him as he's thrown between the men and beaten. He's lifted into the air by his neck, unable to breathe, while his legs dangle awkwardly in the air. Then he's thrown onto the cold, damp ground. His already ratty clothes are torn and dirtied, and his paws scrape painfully on concrete. Before he can even think about getting up and try to escape, the trio start kicking him. Ouch. Gwyn shields his chest, crying out in pain and humiliation. But they continue kicking his arms, his back, his legs, and his rear. He's not a hard foe to conquer, but his attackers still cheer and laugh like they're achieving some kind of joyous victory. The raccoon hybrid is forced onto his back by their feet. Jared places a paw on the raccoon's crotch, pressing down hard enough into the boy's manhood to make him whimper. Levin places a hoof on Gwyn's belly and pins him to the ground, while Norm places a filthy canine paw against Gwyn's muzzle. You learning yet, little brat. He rubs his foot back and forth against the raccoon's muzzle and over his lips. This is where you belong. As Gwyn glances upward, he sees the D-hole's eyes glaring with delight over the image of the defeated orphan, suffering whatever they want to do to him. No one enjoys this. This is us being nice to you, don't you see? We could do so much worse to you, given the way you've been threatening us, or treating us. Yeah, you disobedient little prick. Pathetic. The antelope echoed. You should be thanking us for doing this to you, teaching you a lesson. Maybe you do enjoy it, little bitch. I bet sometimes when you're alone in your shabby, rickety bed at night, you woo yourself thinking about us doing stuff like this. That's how pathetic you are, huh? The two boys break into laughter and jab his aching body with their feet. Gwyn clenches his eyes shut and shakes his head at the reprehensible thought. No? Then maybe we need to teach you better. We've been way too nice to you so far. You think you can get away with being a little prick like this forever? You need to learn your fucking place. The D-hole looks at his friends and smirks, winking. Don't worry, we're good teachers. You'll pay attention to us when we're teaching. Despite his fear, Gwyn can't help but peer through his narrowed eyelids as he senses of other men shuffling around. I am going to click this right here just so that, I remember to do that. And I'm going to turn it off right here. He clutches his head with his hands, trembling, crying quietly. He can hardly believe what's happening. He can do nothing to stop it. He's pathetic. Too soon, the disobedient of the cold wind and pattering rain is replaced by a disgusting warmth of piss streaming down over his body. He feels it seeping into his clothes and into his fur. With three of them doing it at once, it's all over him. Norton pisses on the raccoon's face, and hot liquid trembles down his shaking hands, threatening to get into his facial orifices. Gwyn clenches his mouth shut, like his life depends on it. He pushes what little air is still in his lungs out of his nostrils, when it seeps into his nose. It leaves a sickening, salty scent on his nose. The stench is the worst of all. It's enough to be beaten and humiliated by them, but now he also has to carry their undesirable sense with him, culminating the domination of bullies have over him. You can barely imagine anything more humiliating than this. The soldiers finish spraying the defenseless student and cram their things back into their pants, but not before shaking off the last few drops. Now, laughter rains down over him like piss. Okay, I'm gonna put that back on. You smell a lot better now, because I like piss. Everyone's gonna think you're a little woo now. Yeah, you should be grateful. You don't have to worry about anyone else touching you. People know you're ours now. Whether two are buoyant, Norin crouches down, and his voice is darker and more sinister. If you think this is it, and this is the worst of it, you're wrong, Sparks. If you keep disrespecting us, and you don't learn where you belong, you're going to learn what it's like to break. And the best thing is, there's no one in the world who gives the slightest fuck what we do to you. No one. Gwyn lies there, trembling and sniffling, and snorting piss out of his nose, while the laughter of his tormentors fades into the distance. Eventually, he's left alone again. In the distance, the thunder heralds the arrival of rain. Maybe he could start running and make it back to the orphanage before it hits. He doesn't bother trying. He lies there in the dirt, already soaked, filthy, reeking of piss, and waits for it. Nature can't do anything worse to him than he has already suffered. As promised, the dark clouds overhead. The skies soon open up, and the rain over the city of Victorium washes away its filth. It does the same for Gwyn. He finds some relief in the fresh water as it cleanses clothes and body at least a little. Eventually, when he's truly starting to shiver and his extremities start to grow numb, he drags himself up to his feet and starts prodding back towards the orphanage. His dirty paws crawling through the streets of northwest Victoria. Well, I think with that we're gonna call it. Boy, things don't start out happy. But yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna go through the list of things. There's the raccoon guy, well, looks like he's in the shower. The bullies. I'm looking through the pictures here. Two other canines we haven't seen before, and two ladies. One's a goat. Let's see. Oh, the guy we haven't seen before, and the antelope guy. Some horse dude. Lots of blood. Yeah, just looking at things to see like what we're missing. That scene, that scene. There's a knife. I guess these might be other people from the orphanage. I don't know. Yeah. But that's going to be the end of this quick look. So, please comment, because I like comments, haven't you like dislike tips strict otherwise. If you like my YouTube and like Secret, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos to have a current bleeder on his way, new your animals to help control the pit population. I need to look up what kinetic novel means. A brand of Japanese software public now. Define. Type of visual novel where the player has no interaction or choices that affect the story's outcome. Okay. I mean, that makes it easier for some things. But yeah, if you want me to play a Let's Play series of this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point, which will put up higher on the user's choice list. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. Just want to look at stuff. Echo, what's this called? Echo something? Okay, yeah, I think it's all finished. This is version 2, but it's like, you know, 2.0, and Last update was in January. That's like Chinese localization. But yeah, we're working on a different game as well. But yeah, that's not going to be the end of this, because we have to figure out what we're doing next week. So, random number generator of destiny, I can't sing. What are we doing next? Dude, oh, you go to the quick look folder. Then to 3, 4. Survey says number 1. Number 1 with a bullet. Whatever that means. An audio warning, maybe? Beyond the Ruins. A game about... As I look up the synopsis... Maybe put the audio down a bit. Yeah, about there. Beyond the Ruins is a post-apocalyptic, furry visual novel that there's more focus on adventure and horror. It takes the setting of an old abandoned building along with your fellow survivors. You play the main character, Roger by default, Roger, finding yourself trying to fit in to the new world and recollecting your memories of your past. You adventure your way through what's left behind and what else there is to see. You discover and build relationships with people along your journey. That's... you wake up back in the building and find yourself with a couple of people. It's been years since you woke up, and a lot of disasters happened. You're trying to figure out how to deal with your environment. Beyond the Ruins is my very first visual novel, self-learned and started in August 2023. A year after... So yeah, it's kind of weird because one of these... It looks like there's 5 characters, and one of these guys looks like... Would it be a cryptid? Basically, think SCP-1471? Is that it? You know, the one with the skull mask, but also with antlers? It's like, huh. How does that work out? But yeah, this game was... I guess we should download the news version. But because it was last updated 19 days ago, which would be... Can you give me an exact date? May of 2025. So yeah, it's doing stuff. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. But as I'm looking through the thing, yeah, I guess it's just itch.io. And until next time, another Let's Play, or Quick Look, by me, GamerWolfSix, of some other game, that being this one. So thanks and see ya.